Hi, this is Bob Nash with Oldawan Tools to Stay Sharp here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Let's take a look at some of the differences between the Wicked Edge systems available. So the basic setup is included either with the sharpener by itself or the ProPack 1. And what you're going to get there is an angle rod that's marked out from 15 to 30 degrees in individual degree increments. It does have indentations on the back of the bar that the set screws are going to set into to lock you into those single degree increments. It's done with the universal joint setup, which has been tightened in the most recent version, so a lot less angle play available to you in that setup. So on the ProPack 2, we've got a couple changes. First, we're going to get a longer base rod on the bottom and the Vise Riser, which is going to give you additional angle range. So this is marked from 13 to 35 degrees in single degree increments. Again, still with the indentations on the back for the set screw to lock you into those settings. And once you're locked into that setting, which is close to where you want to be, you can use the small end of the vise key into the shaft of the ball joint to drive it in and get sub 1 degree adjustments. So you can really dial this into the closest setting to where you want to be that's possible. So when do I recommend that you might want to add the ProPack 2 setup to your basic kit or buy the ProPack 2 sharpener? If you know that you're going to want the best tool that's available from Wicked Edge, then you should just go ahead and buy the ProPack 2. You're not going to be happy with this set sitting on your shelf at any time looking at it and wondering why you didn't just upgrade. If you're doing straight razor sharpening, the ProPack 2 is the way to go. You can do it with the basic kit, but it's so much easier with that sub 1 degree adjustment to handle sharpening straight razors. If you're working with water stones or other stones that wear over time or vary in thickness, or various hones of various thicknesses that you'd like to try, the sub 1 degree adjustment makes it a lot easier to adjust for that angle change that happens with the stone thickness variation. And last, if you do have Asian knives or custom chisel grinds or stuff like that that have wider angles or narrow angles, you're going to want that additional angle range that's available in the ProPack 2. So a couple limitations to the ProPack 2 that I've heard people mention is, for one, when you're bringing the stone back, there's a limit to the range of motion to the outside. Some people like bringing the stone back out much wider, like you can do on the basic kit. When they move over to the ProPack 2, because of the limited range of motion, they hit that stop there. It kind of throws off their rhythm a little bit. So one thing to be aware of. Another thing that doesn't come up very often, but we run into at shows, is a lot of Emersons, Striders, other custom chisel ground knives have pretty wide angles on them. And sometimes the blades are fairly short or they're fairly narrow. And occasionally you'll get to this point where, let me slide this out and assume that this is a knife that's out at 35 degrees or a little bit wider. And you can see, let me turn this sideways too. So you can see that the stone actually, as it comes down, will not actually touch the knife through this part of the stroke. So there's a limitation to the inside motion of the ball joint, how far it'll come over, where with the universal joint, you've still got that full range. So when we ship the ProPack 2 kit, we do include the basic kit arms for just that reason. So if you run into a knife where you're out at a really wide angle and you can't get the stone over to make contact with the cutting edge, but you don't want to change the angle, you can move back to the standard arms and still sharpen that knife. So those are some of the basic differences between the ProPack 1 and the ProPack 2 arm setup. And I hope that makes it easier for you to make a decision between the two. Once again, this is Bob with Oldawan Tools to Stay Sharp in Santa Fe. Thanks for taking a look at our video, and you can find more information on our website, www.oldawan.com.